The geopolitical legacy of the Ukraine conflict. As the Ukraine conflict unfolds, the Machiavellian perspective positing the involvement of the United States and Russia for economic gains raises questions about the long-term consequences of such strategic maneuvering. If history serves as a guide, the ripple effects of geopolitical machinations can shape the future in profound ways. Exploring potential consequences requires a forward-looking analysis that considers not only economic outcomes but also the geopolitical landscape and international relations. Arms industry expansion. If the hypothesis holds true and the Ukraine conflict is, in part, fueled by the desire to stimulate the arms industry, the consequences for the global weapons market could be significant. Increased demand for advanced military technology may lead to an expansion of defense contractors and a surge in research and development. This, in turn, could contribute to an era of heightened militarization, potentially exacerbating global tensions. Energy market dynamics. Manipulation of the conflict for economic gains in the energy sector may result in enduring consequences for global energy markets. Disruptions in the oil and gas supply chain could prompt nations to reassess their energy security strategies, potentially accelerating the shift towards renewable energy sources. Additionally, heightened competition for control over energy resources may redefine geopolitical alliances and rivalries. Geopolitical realignment. The Machiavellian approach to the Ukraine conflict implies a calculated game of geopolitical chess between the US and Russia. If successful, the consequences could involve a reshaping of alliances and rivalries on the world stage. Traditional partnerships may be strained, and new alliances may emerge as nations re-evaluate their geopolitical positions in response to the outcomes of the conflict. Impact on international institutions. The manipulation of conflicts for economic gains may erode trust in international institutions designed to maintain peace and stability. If the US and Russia are perceived to have exploited the Ukraine conflict for their economic interests, it could undermine the credibility of organizations such as the United Nations, leading to a more fragmented and unpredictable international system. Humanitarian consequences. Geopolitical machinations often have real and lasting effects on civilian populations. If the conflict in Ukraine is driven, in part, by economic interests, the humanitarian toll could be exacerbated. The displacement of people, disruption of livelihoods, and the strain on humanitarian aid efforts may linger long after the guns fall silent, leaving a legacy of suffering and instability. In conclusion, while the Machiavellian perspective on the Ukraine conflict offers a lens through which to interpret current events, the potential consequences reach far beyond the immediate economic gains for the US and Russia. A careful consideration of the future ramifications underscores the need for a nuanced and ethical approach to international relations. As the world watches the Ukraine conflict unfold, it becomes imperative to anticipate and mitigate the potential long-term impacts on global security, stability, and the well-being of the affected populations. The lessons of history suggest that the consequences of Machiavellian strategies can shape the geopolitical landscape for generations to come.